Good morning, everyone. My name is Wanda Keith, and I'm here because Reverend Kate is taking a well-deserved holiday. She started on Tuesday, May the 12th, and she will be off till Tuesday, May the 17th. So welcome to everyone here. Also would like to welcome those that are viewing us from live streaming or at their convenience later. Before I get to the announcements, I would like to certainly do our territory statement. So welcome to this time of worship. We begin by acknowledging that the land we stand upon is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, and the neutral peoples, the Chippewas of Nawash, the Ottawa, and the Saugeen Ojibwe peoples. We recognize and value the First Peoples' continued stewardship of the land and water. We acknowledge that the treaties of the past still impact our work towards truth and reconciliation. This territory was subject to treaties under which multiple nations agreed to care for the land and resources by the Great Lakes in peace. We also acknowledge and recognize the Upper Canada treaties signed in regards to this land, which include Treaty Number 29 and Treaty Number 45.5. Our role as treaty people commits us to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation, gratitude, and respect with our Indigenous neighbors. And so, as I said, Reverend Kate is on a much-deserved holiday, and we are delighted that Clayton Peters from Camp Mensetung will be leading us through our service today. I know it will be fun, and we will learn lots, and it's always a treat. Thank you very much, Clayton. There are a number of upcoming meetings, as you saw scrolling through, but just for those who didn't quite see them, Safe Spaces will be meeting on Wednesday, May the 18th at 6:30. They're going to be meeting by Zoom. The Stewardship Committee will be meeting on Thursday, May the 19th at 4:30, and they'll be meeting in person in the parlor. And as well, your council will meet on Tuesday, May the 31st at 7 p.m. in the parlor, again in person. Much easier to discuss things when we can go back and forth without the lag of Zoom. The UCW had a lovely gathering this past week, and they want you to know that their rosters are available, which tells you the members, tells you the meetings, and all sorts of information. There are some available at the back in the narthex, or if you like, there will be some in the office if you wish to pick them up during the week when Shirley is in the office. I'd also just like to make note that there was a lovely thank you from Marg Fouts, and she says, "Thank you everyone who has phoned, sent cards, and best wishes for a speedy recovery from my pacemaker surgery last week. Everything went very well, and the recovery is progressing well too. Also, thank you for the many birthday wishes I received for her 80th birthday, May the 9th. I appreciate your kindness. May the Lord continually bless each of you with heaven's blessings." That's Psalm 128, verse 5, and that's from Margaret Fouts, and we are delighted that she is recovering well. Just a note that our building will be used for an all-candidates debate. The Huron County Chamber of Commerce will host this debate on Wednesday, May the 25th, starting at 7 p.m. The doors will open at 6:30 here in the sanctuary at Lakeshore United Church. And coming up this coming long weekend, the launch of 2022, A Feast for the Senses. It's the 20th of May, the 21st, and the 22nd. The Goderich BIA is celebrating the beginning of the summer season in Goderich with a traffic-free event. So on May the 21st, that's the Saturday, the courthouse square will be closed to traffic. They're going to have circus performers that will roam the streets entertaining visitors. There will be live music on the stage for the first time in 2 years, and an extended and expanded farmers market, an hilarious bed race, we haven't seen one of those for a number of years, an inflatable obstacle course for the whole family, and more. And this will be followed by their main event in the evening, a laser light circus spectacular, unlike anything Goderich has ever seen before. So you can check out the Goderich website for under events to see some more information. And I would be remiss if I didn't remind you, if you're hungry for breakfast next Sunday, May the 22nd, Camp Mensetung is having their pancake breakfast from 8 a.m. till 12 noon. There's various prices that we're floating, but if you need to have more information, check out their website. So again, we are delighted that we have Camp Mensetung represented by Clayton Peters this morning. At this time, I'd like us to turn to our opening hymn, number 289, It Only Takes a Spark, and that is in Voices United, 289. Our call to worship is printed on our screen. A space to learn and grow. A space to try new things. One person, say that. Start again. A space to try new things. He brought up our paddle. A space to share our stories. A space to connect to nature. A space to shout and play. A space to be still and listen. A space to make new friends and build community. A space to connect with God. A space to just be welcome to worship. We'll now do our gathering song.
That was a fun one. Got you moving a little bit? All right. Now it's time for Psalm 100, Make a Joyful Noise, Voices United 820. Loving God, open our hearts and minds by the power of your Holy Spirit, that as the scriptures are read, we may hear with joy what you say to us today. Amen. Psalm 100. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come into his presence with singing. Know that the Lord is God. It is he that made us, and we are his people, and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving, and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him, bless his name. For the Lord is good, and his steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations. Today I'd like to answer a question I'm often asked, which is, why do I love camp? And today, to help answer that question, I'd like to share two joyful stories from camp. The first is an update on how Camp Mensetung has been doing these past few years since our last camp-themed gathering at Lakeshore way back in 2019. So in 2019, we found ourselves having one of the best summers. I mean, at least one since I've been around in 2016. More campers than ever, a new way of doing camp where campers chose which sessions they wanted to attend. We didn't have to worry about the things like masking, cohorting, distancing, ventilation, and all that. And then came 2020. We canceled everything in person. We ran an online version of summer camp with camp counselors on their laptops and campers playing games and making things together over Zoom, sharing a social connection in the days of distancing. In 2021, we opened for in-person summer camp with reduced capacity and significant adaptations, and we ran full to the capacities we set. It was great to be back. When our campers first arrived, they sprinted to their cabins, leaving their relieved parents to wonder just how our counselors would manage this energetic group of kids who hadn't socialized face-to-face in far too long, many needing to relearn those skills all over again. And the team pulled through with great success, and we were very happy with our number of COVID cases. 0. It's the right number. Which brings us to today. Starting this afternoon, our spring team begins to arrive at camp, as training commences this week for a spring school program that is now possible again after a 2-year hiatus. All signs are pointing to be a busier camping season than has ever been seen in Mensetung in many years, with a group or event booked at camp almost every single day from May 24th until the end of August. Over 1,200 students visiting this spring, and summer registrations tracking well over double the amount of our last highest year for this time, which was 2019. We have around half of our 15 summer programs fully full to capacity. We're also excited to be running 2 new retreats this year. In June, we're proud to host Huron County's first 2S LGBTQ+ empowerment retreat called I Am Awesome for youth aged 12 to 20, and we already have 30 excited campers signed up. And also the end of August, for those of you who have been a past camper or staff or board member, we're excited to host our 75th year anniversary alumni reunion weekend, a time for all those past campers, staff, or board members to return to camp for a day, a night, or the whole weekend. We have lots planned, including a Sunday service from a longtime Mensetung camp director some of you might know named Spoonie. What a blessing it is to have so many schools and families place their trust in us to take care of their kids, especially after 2 years of running at a financial loss in pursuit of our mission, hoping that the investment in our staff and camper families would pay off. And here they come. Now, as a half-time teacher here in Goderich at GDCI, but also a director at Mensetung, I'm often asked, since these are both jobs where I get to work with kids, which I like, why don't I step aside from camp to work full-time as a teacher? You see, teaching does have a lot going for it that a small charity summer camp struggles to compete with. Teaching is more sustainable from a finance and pension perspective. You don't have to worry about those staff members that you sent off into the wilderness with 12-year-olds who had never been camping before. You get your summers off, and my summers are very much not off at the moment. And yet, as I realize increasingly every year, there is something about the power of camp that brings out such incredible energy, confidence, independence, and self-expression in kids in a way that is rare at school. I would like to tell you the story of a grade 7 student who was in one of my classes at school last year and also attended Mensetung for the first time last summer. Let's call him Trent. So at school, Trent was a student who I would describe as volatile, likely influenced by a challenging home life, constantly reacting, often aggressively, to any sign of opposition or perceived chirping from his peers. Being cool and defiant was important to him. It was a common occurrence for Trent to be escorted from class for being disruptive. Maybe you remember having a Trent in your class when you were younger. Maybe it was you. Yeah. Now, when I saw that Trent had been registered for overnight camp, I will admit that I was a bit apprehensive, and I knew that a bit of extra vigilance wouldn't go amiss. On arrival day, I sat down with Trent at dinner to catch up and check in, and he told me that he had made a decision. He had decided that before coming to camp, that he was going to start fresh and try and make some friends this week. He told me about strategies that he was going to try if he noticed he was getting angry. I was blown away. The Trent that I was talking to on that picnic table seemed like a different person than the Trent that I knew from school. You see, one of camp's most powerful features is also the simplest. Camp offers a chance to start fresh in a safe space, and you can fully be a different version of yourself, hopefully a better version of yourself, because you're now living somewhere else for a week and almost everyone you are meeting for the first time. I'd like you to picture this scene. So it's Monday evening, and this evening, like every evening at camp, we're having a campfire, a time of songs, stories, and skits, but this time on the beach, following an intense train station sandcastle building competition. Camp songs are a big deal at camp. We sing them all the time. If we didn't cut it off, our campfires would likely go all night. Partway through, the campers called me up to lead a song called My Aunt Uma, a thrilling song about my Aunt Uma's chickens and all the things they do. So I called out, "I'm looking for volunteers fully dedicated to becoming chickens." 15 or so hands immediately shoot up. Trent's is one of the first. I'm not sure I get the same response if I ask that question right now here. Now, this is a song where you gradually become more and more like a chicken with each time you sing it, with the final verse sung on only the syllable buck as loud as possible while dancing around like a chicken. Are we too cool for this? Is Trent too cool for this? No, not even a bit. So there we were, a crowd of 40 or so masked 6 to 30-something-year-olds roaring our chicken song across the lake without a care in the world while our 15 chickens danced a frenzy in their sandy coop. A joyful noise indeed. There is a willingness to participate and take risks at camp that I haven't encountered to the same degree in any other setting. If I'd asked that question to my class at school, I certainly would not have got the same response. Trent's cabin ended up clicking really well, thanks to a very patient and enthusiastic cabin counselor and perhaps a bit of good fortune as well. During cabin cleanup at the end of the week, it was Trent's idea to lead a Macarena flash mob and try to get the other cabins to join in. He's a different person. When Trent's foster parent arrived to pick him up, he begged to come back for another week of the summer. And after seeing how positive an experience it had been for him, and with the help of our camp bursary program, we made it happen for Trent. We made it happen for Trent. There are, of course, many differences between camp and school, but of these two places where kids spend their days, there is one, I think, with more gladness and singing, thanksgiving and praise, faithfulness and love, and certainly one with more space for everyone to make their joyful noise. And that is why I love camp. I'd now like to lead us in a camp song. It is not the chicken song. I'm not going to have you become chickens, don't worry. This one's perhaps more familiar. It's called Sia Humba, and it's not originally a camp song. It's a folk song from who knows how long ago. All right, so I'm going to grab my guitar, and we'll give it a go. Oh, yes, the number in your book is?
646.
646, which does have the lyrics written down in case that's helpful. All right. Sia humba kukin yankwenko, sia humba kukin yankwenko, sia humba kukin yankwenko, sia humba kukin yankwenko, sia humba, oh, sia humba kukin yankwenko, sia humba, oh, sia humba kukin yankwenko. We are marching. We are marching in the light of God. 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 We are marching, oh, we are marching in the light of God. We are marching, oh, we are marching in the light of God. Sia humba, kukin yankwenko, sia humba kukin yankwenko, sia humba kukin yankwenko, sia humba kukin yankwenko, sia humba, oh, sia humba kukin yankwenko, sia humba, oh, sia humba kukin yankwenko. Wonderful. You did great. You did great. Thank you. We wanted to do the chicken song? I think Wanda wants to do the chicken song. So I'm not sure we have time. No. All right. Now we have the offertory. In celebration and thankfulness for all we have received, we now share our offerings. May they be of use for continuing God's work wherever they are needed. Amen. For our Minute for Mission today, I wanted to just highlight, some folks ask, well, what is camp looking for? How can we help camp? And I wanted to highlight a program at camp that has been new these past 2 years, which is canoeing. We've recently started up a canoeing program on the lake, and last year was our first year doing this with our campers, and doing so entirely using donated canoes and canoeing equipment, which is fantastic. And we have a fleet of, I think, 8 canoes right now and paddles, and the thing that would be very helpful if you're looking for an opportunity to contribute towards a very practical, always used object at camp, it would be a life jacket. So I would encourage you to consider donating a life jacket, whether new or used, out to camp, and it will definitely go on the back of a kid who will now not be at risk of drowning. We certainly would never send someone without a life jacket, but having a life jacket is most welcome. We're very excited about our canoeing programs. It's part of our kind of focused mission at camp towards pursuing inclusion and community through the spirit of outdoor adventure. So bringing our canoeing programs and our outdoor camping experiences is part of the direction for that. I'd like to lead us in the prayers of the people. And there is a congregational response which says, "We give thanks to you." I'm not sure if it's in the bulletin. All right, I'll give you a look. All right. Gracious God, you are so good to us. Today we offer a prayer of thanksgiving for all the blessings revealed to us through the camping and outdoor ministries, for the gifts of your good creation, which we encounter when we are camping, for forests and fields, beaches, streams and lakes, sunrises and sunsets, wind and rain. We give you thanks, O God, for your gift of time and cycle of nature, for opportunities in the out of doors to reflect, and to feel your presence very near us, and rest and recreation. We give you thanks, O God, for the dedication of countless people who have supported this ministry through offerings of time and talent, builders, counselors, cooks, and programmers, for the gifts of all who create and maintain an environment of faithfulness and healing through their example at camp. We give you thanks, O God, for the blessings you make known to us through those who participate at camp, for the questions and discoveries, for the friendships and fun, for the music and stories. We give you thanks, O God. We're now going to sing another camp song called Peace Like a River, which does have lyrics on hymn
577.
577. This is a song with actions. So if you're feeling particularly campy this morning, I would encourage you to stand with us. And the actions are peace like a river. This is the action for river. We have joy like a fountain. And on the word fountain, you can be whatever kind of fountain you like, all right, whatever it is. Love like an ocean. So love like an ocean. And repeating throughout the song is in my soul. So we point to ourselves when we say in my soul. So if you're feeling like moving a little bit, we've got some actions. And then the final verse does them all. We've got peace like a river, joy like a fountain, love like an ocean in my soul. All right. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean in my soul. All three. I've got peace like a river, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got love like an ocean in my soul. Wonderful, wonderful. Go make a joyful noise. Worship your God with gladness.